right, this week is Black Country Woman, the great song from Led Zeppelin off of Physical Graffiti in 1975. Features Jimmy Page on an open G tuning acoustic and John Paul Jones on mandolin. We'll talk about both of those parts today. So if you haven't already, please jump down and hit subscribe. It really helps us out. Ring the bell. The bell lets you know every time I drop new content, which I do every single week. And let me know in the comments what you think about this, and if there's another song you want me to do a similar lesson that you'd be interested in seeing. Okay, also all my videos have jump links in the bottom, and you can use those or the horizontal red bar on the bottom of your screen to zip right to the part of the lesson that you want to. If you want to skip right to a specific part, you can do that at any time. This song happens to be a request from a viewer. Thank you for that suggestion. Last week I posted the song Maggie May using a mandolin, and I was borrowing it from my neighbor. And I made a remark in that video that, hey, if you have a mandolin, you probably already learned this song because that's why you bought a mandolin if you like this music. And this viewer wrote back and said, hey, yep, first two songs I knew were Maggie May and Black Country Woman. And I'm like, Black Country Woman, I'm gonna do it. So thank you for that suggestion. I learned something new today and did the video right away, and thanks again for that. Okay, so with that, let's talk about Jimmy Page's guitar part here. So super fun song. Again, open G tuning is you tune from a standard tuning, you tune your low E string down to a D, your A string down to a G, and your high pitched E string down to a G. So your strings will sound like, which gives you a G chord. G, or D, G, D, G, B, D. Okay, so this song is in G, or vaguely in G, might be off a little bit, but okay, so here's how, it's basically a 1-4-5 progression, 1 being in the key of G, your 4 chord is your C, and your 5 chord is, that's right, it's a D. Okay, so there's your G chord. So the riff is played on the lower two, or the first and second string. You're going to grab it on the 3rd fret, down to the 2nd fret, open, and then you're going to come up here to 5, and you're not going to cover both strings now, you're just going to cover the single string, and you can play that either just by hitting that string alone, like this, or you can play a G chord this way, where you're also matching the low note, catching a G. So it's either or, either way. I tend to do this. Okay, but putting it all together, that pull off on the 3rd fret on the A string to start you off, right? Watch my right hand. This is the pattern in terms of the strumming pattern. This is what you want to do. Starts with an upstroke. To my ear, it sounds with an upstroke. It starts with an upstroke. So you're starting with your upstroke. Okay, second one, when you go to your 4 chord, you're going to do the exact same shape. You're just sliding it up to where your C position is, or your 4 chord. And your 4 chord is at your 5th fret, just straight across is a C. So you're just mimicking what you did down here, but you're just starting it up here on the 5th position. So you need to use your pinky, and you're going to pinky up at fret 8, covering the 1st and 2nd string, and you're going to use that same progression that we did before to get that part. Now we don't go all the way up here we don't do that. We come right back to our 3rd fret, right? to our 1. Back again. If you just did the first string, it still works, but it's not exactly like you're hearing it on the record. He grabs both. That's probably the toughest part of this song if you haven't worked on that before. It's getting that power and that strength in your pinky. And it just comes with repetition, and you'll get it. Same thing when you go to your 5 chord, which is your D. It's the exact same thing. Back down to 4. That's really all there is to that. So when you get up to your 5, it's just a 1 measure. Then you're already back down to C and back home to G. That's the whole thing. So the only thing that's different is the very end, after all of the high energy harmonica and drums going and everyone's really going at it. At the very end, Page plays a little outro lick, and it sounds like this. And you can play that a couple different ways. You can play it just single as a chromatic. Chromatic is just 1 fret at a time. Walk down from 3 down to 0 on the first string. And then back up again on 2 and 3. That works. You also can add on this first string and the 4th string are both Ds. So you can play them both together. Which doesn't sound like what he did on the record, but it works and you can do it. You can also add in the B string too with all of it. Or a combination. Or you can do that lick also, barring both strings, 1st and 2nd, at the 3rd fret, and you can play it. So you leave the 1st string off when you're doing those first strums. And for whatever reason, that's the way that I learned it, and I keep gravitating back to that. I don't necessarily think that's what Page did. I think he probably did. But I want to do. And I don't know why. So I usually close it like this. And there you go. Okay, so let's talk about the mandolin part. I am fumbling around here to find what I think is probably right. I've did a little bit of research. I am not a mandolin player, but if I can put my fingers on here and make noise out of it, maybe I am a mandolin player. Who knows? But here you go. So it's a 1-4-5 progression with a healthy sort of 7th in there. So we saw Jimmy Page's open G tuning for the guitar part. This is what's complementing that. Played by John Paul Jones. So here is the fingering for the mandolin part. Here's the 1 chord. So you'll see the position over here. So best as I could tell, there's sort of an upstroke to get that note in there. And so he sort of kicks it off with, well, the main riff is played on the lower two strings here. But every once in a while he grabs that note, and it's kind of an odd rhythm of when that happens. It's an upstroke on the very beginning. sort of like in the very beginning and then in the middle. Maybe he catches it there too, but that's the fingering. 4-chord, best as I can tell, is played like this. Right, you see how that fingering, and then you're back to the 1. And the 4 is played like this. So again, that's picking the lower, kind of the lower 3 strings. I think you get the 2 middle ones the most. And maybe you catch that in there a little bit. Back to the 4. Back to the 1. All together. Five. And that's as good as I can do on this. So that's Black Country Woman. Super fun song, and once you get the tuning right, it's really easy. It can be a little stretch if this is using your pinky, if this is new for you. So if that's new, just give it a go, stick with it, and you'll get it, and you've learned something new now. Okay, so listen, if you haven't done so already and you like what you saw, please go down and click subscribe, ring the bell, it lets you know every time I drop new content, which I do every single week. And let me know what you think of this song, and if there's another one you want me to do. And until next week, take care, everybody.